Okay, and what we want to do in this video is take something that we intuitively already know, which is that the law of demand, essentially, which is why the demand curve slopes downwards. As the price goes up, you buy less of something. As the price goes down, you buy more of it. But what we're going to do now is take a very, very in-depth look into why. My advice is to stay very, very calm and just realize that this is something that you already know, and in order to try to appear more intelligent, you see, I need as much appearance as I can get. Economists have come up with fancy language which nobody can understand in order to make it seem difficult, so that we look like we're very clever. All right, so don't be worrying about this, but I do want you to understand it. I want you to get it. Okay, so what I've tried to do is explain it as simply as possible. All right. Now, again, we're talking about all the 9 themes and real issue 1 and stuff like that, but we're explaining why the law of demand is a law. Okay, we're explaining why the demand curve slopes downwards. We're explaining why people buy more when the price falls and why people buy less when the price rises. So let's have a look here, the demand curve. This shows the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity demanded. It is normally downward sloping. So if it's normally downward sloping, that means that there is a law of demand, and that means that as the price rises, quantity demanded falls, people buy less after a price rise, and as the price falls, quantity demanded rises, people buy more after a price fall. But don't forget, we're holding everything else constant, which is our favorite term in economics, ceteris paribus, okay? Now, we've already said this, and I'll repeat myself over and over again. Law of demand: as the price of a good falls, the quantity demanded will normally increase. When the price of a good or service rises, the quantity demanded of that good or service falls, and when the price of the good or service falls, the quantity demanded of that good or service rises. We know that. What we're trying to do is to explain in very, very in-depth detail why. Okay, so again, this is everything that I hope we already know. A movement down the demand curve. If there is a fall in price, as we can see, Q2 is greater than Q1. So at lower prices, or as price falls, quantity demanded rises. We are moving along the demand curve. The demand curve itself hasn't changed. We're moving from this point here, which is at the price P1, down to this point here, which is at the price P2. A movement is caused by a change in price. We are moving along a constant demand curve from here down to here. Now, a movement up the demand curve, and we are going to explain in this video why the demand curve is downward sloping, why we can say this with pretty relative certainty that this is the way that consumers will react following price changes. Following a price increase, we move up the existing demand curve, and therefore it is a movement because it's a price change, and we are moving up a constant non-changing demand curve from there to there. Now, the demand curve, we already said, shows the relationship between the price of a good or service and the quantity demanded. It is normally downward sloping. And don't forget, guys, that the law of demand tells us that quantity demand depends upon the price. When the price of a good changes, this is known as a movement, and only a price change can cause a movement. Right, we are trying to explain why a movement up the demand curve caused by an increase in price causes quantity demanded to fall, and a movement down the demand curve caused by a reduction in price causes quantity demanded to rise. Now we get on to the fun stuff, shall we say. So there are 3 reasons that we are going to discuss. It is very important that you do not mix up the income effect with a change in income. Okay, the change in income as one of the non-price determinants means you either get paid more or less. The income effect refers to a change in your real income, which I'll explain later, following a price change. Do not forget, we are trying to explain why the demand curve is downward sloping. So therefore, the only thing that is changing is price. Price is the only thing that is changing when we are talking about each of these 3 reasons that the demand curve slopes downward. The first one is the income effect, not to be confused with changes in income. That is one of the non-price determinants. The second one is the substitution effect, not to be confused with substitute goods that we talked about in other related goods prices. That is a non-price determinant, okay? We're not talking, these could be the most opposite things in the world, and we're talking about a substitution effect. So think microphones and ice cream, and we're going to talk about a substitution effect between the two, okay? The most opposite things in the world, and we're still going to talk about a substitution effect. They are not substitute goods. And finally, our good old friend, the law of diminishing marginal utility. So the first thing that we're going to look at now is the income effect. Now, this is what I want you to understand, is that income can be looked at in one of two ways. What we can have is nominal income, which I will explain in a second, and real income. Now, always remember, if you're unlucky enough to have me in class, I am saying that a real economist understands changes in real things, real output, real interest rates, okay? So, nominal or money income refers to income in terms of currency. I get paid 500 a week, let's say, okay? Whereas real income, and you won't understand this per se, but you will in a second, real income, the real income of a consumer refers to the purchasing power of money income. Real income means how much you can buy for €1, how much stuff that €1 will buy you, how much stuff that this €500 per week will buy you, okay? And it refers to the purchasing power of money. Now, when I say purchasing power, you have to understand that I mean prices. Okay, so money income is measured in currencies. As I said, I earn £1,000 a week. Apparently, I've gotten a pay rise since the last slide, which is fantastic. Real income is measured in physical units of output. Right, so being a bit of a jolly fellow myself, I shall refer to Big Macs. So the idea is that with my €1,000 a week money income, I can afford to buy with that 200 Big Macs per week. Okay, so let's just have a look at the income effect and let's see if we can make sense of it relatively quickly, and then we're going to talk about it soon. So when a decrease in the price of a good, remember guys, I cannot stress this enough, the price of the good has to change in order for there to have been an income effect or a substitution effect. The price of the good has to change in order for the law of demand to make any sense, because the law of demand states that when the price rises, quantity demanded falls, and when the price falls, quantity demanded rises. So there has been no change in your money income, there has been nothing like that. We're just saying the price of the good itself has changed, okay? When a decrease in the price of the good or service that is being consumed means that consumers experience an increase in real income. Okay, they're richer in real terms. That €1,000 can now buy more Big Macs if the price of Big Macs falls. All right, that's all that says. Usually allowing them to purchase more of a good. Well, yeah, if I'm still getting paid €1,000 a week and the price of Big Macs falls, now I can buy more Big Macs. All right, massively on my mind. And the income effect may be negative. Don't be worrying about that. Okay, we don't need to concern ourselves too much with that. Now, here we go. In a very simple economy, we will assume that workers earn euros, because I'm Irish, so all my examples will be in euros, and there's only one good produced Big Macs. That will do for me. A worker, unfortunately, only earns 500 a week. Now he's down from the 1,000, and the price of Big Macs is €5 each. Now let's actually do something crazy in economics and keep it nice and simple so we can understand what we're talking about. Calculate the worker's nominal income. Not a trick question. Calculate the worker's real income. Not a trick question. Well, the nominal income is €500 a week because that's just measured in currency. If you give him 500 a week, his nominal income is €500 a week. If you give him €1,000 a week, his nominal income is €1,000 a week. That's just measured in currency. His real income, in terms of actual stuff, that's why it's called real, it's how much stuff you can get, okay, is calculated by dividing money income by the price. So therefore, €500 a week, the price of Big Macs is €5 each. This individual can afford 100 Big Macs. There's been no income effect or no substitution effect because there's been no change in price. Now, let's just calculate the real income, which again, there's been no income effect or substitution effect because there's been no change in price for each of these. I would ask you to pause the video here, see if you can work it out, and then once you've got your answers, come back. Okay, well, hopefully you've had a chance to do that. And then what we're going to do is look at number one. So we're calculating real income, which is the purchasing power. That means how much physical stuff a fixed quantity of euros can buy you. So a person earns €200 a week and the price of pizza is €10 each. So his real income is going to be measured in pizzas, and it's 200 divided by 10, which is 20 pizzas. God, that's embarrassing. Okay, so a person earns €500 a week and the price of pizzas is 10. Well, 500 divided by 10 is 50 pizzas. Okay, person earns €350 a week and the price is 15. 23.33 pizzas is their real income. In terms of actual physical quantity of stuff, I know there are services, but just keep it simple. That is the value of €350 in this economy because the price of pizzas is 15. A person earns €525 a week and the price of pizzas is 15. It's 525 divided by 15, which gives us 35 pizzas. That is that person's real income. Okay? Now, a person earns €805 a week and the price of pizzas is $17.50. It's the nominal income divided by the price, which tells you how much real stuff. And that, by the way, is the real measure of wealth, how much stuff your money can buy you. It's all about production. Bring it all the way back to money and wealth. We can print as much money as we want, but printing money has the effect of tending to cause inflation. So it's about production because it's about what the money can buy you. That's why real income is so important. Now, money income, which is measured in currencies, is only affected by the amount of euros, dollars, yen, British pounds, Mongolian tugrit you receive. If you get a raise, your money income has risen. If you get a wage reduction, your money income has fallen. It's that simple, okay? But what about real income? Well, real income depends on two things. It depends on your money income, and also it depends on the price of goods and services that are being purchased. What this means now is if your money income rises, ceteris paribus, if your nominal income rises, your real income has also increased. Ceteris paribus meaning prices are remaining the same. If your money income falls, ceteris paribus, holding prices constant, prices haven't changed, your real income has also fallen. No problem. But let's look at the other side of the coin. If your money income, your nominal income, stays the same, remember nominal, okay, but prices increase, well, your real income has fallen. You can now afford to buy less stuff. If your money income stays the same, your nominal income, which is measured in terms of currency, stays the same but prices fall, then you are richer in real terms. Your real income has risen. Now, I would ask you to again pause the video, see if you can answer these questions. I have tried I have tried to trip you up on two of them. I'm sure that you're clever enough to figure it out, and if you're not, no problem, because that just means you'll know at the end. So pause it here and press play when you have answers. Okay, so let's look at this. State whether a person is richer or poorer in real terms. What has happened to their real income, their purchasing power, how much stuff they can get? Well, income rises, so that's your nominal income rises, and prices stay the same. Right, well then you're richer in real terms. Your nominal income falls and prices stay the same. Well then you're poor in real terms. Your nominal income stays the same and prices rise. Well then you're poor. And your nominal income stays the same but prices fall. Then you're richer in real terms, okay? In each of the time I'm saying richer, what I mean is you can afford to buy more stuff with a fixed amount of money, okay? Like €1 will buy more stuff. I know your nominal income is changing. So your nominal income rises and prices fall. Well, you're richer. Your nominal income falls and prices rise. Well, unfortunately, you're poor. Your income rises and prices rise, and your income falls and prices fall. You don't know. It depends which is bigger than the other. So if your income rises by a higher percentage than prices rise, then you're richer, and I mean your nominal income. And if your nominal income falls by a higher percentage than prices fall, well, then you're poorer in real terms. Now, looking at this, we have a downward sloping demand curve. So what we are saying here is, what is the effect of price changes on your real income? And how does that affect the amount of the good that you want to buy? Well, we have P1, we go out to the demand curve and we touch it and go down, we get Q1. That Q1 is the amount of that good or service that is purchased at price P1. There has been no income effect yet because there has been no change in price. Nothing has happened yet, we're just telling you the starting point. Now there has been a change in price, and therefore that means there's been an income effect that has occurred because there has been a change in real income. All right, so let's just analyze what happens. The good has become cheaper, represented by a fall in price. Okay, that means I can afford more. Well, are you richer or poorer in real terms? I'm richer, so I buy more. That's all the income effect is. So if this P1 represented 10% of your income and now this P2 only represents 5% of your income, you can afford to buy more, and as such, you will do that. So therefore, the income effect says that as a good becomes cheaper, it represents a smaller proportion of your real income. As a good becomes cheaper, your real income has risen, and therefore you are richer in real terms. And who buys more stuff? Rich or poor people? I know it's a simplification, but rich people do. So as you become richer, you buy more. That is one of the reasons why a fall in price will cause an increase in quantity demanded, and it's known as the income effect. A fall in price makes the good cheaper, which means you can afford more, which means you're richer, and as such you buy more. That is what technically a positive income effect is. Okay, we won't go into negative income effects. Now the next thing is, we start off here with price P1. Okay, no problem. Then what we do is we say that there is no income effect because the price hasn't changed, and we are trying to explain why the demand curve is downward sloping, i.e. we are trying to explain why there is a law of demand. So what does the law of demand state about price rises? Well, it says that as price rises, people buy less. And yes, that is true. Q2 is less than Q1. Now, in terms of your real income, can we give one reason, that don't forget the income effect is only one of three, why as the price rises, you buy less? Well, let's examine this. The good has become more expensive, evidenced or proven by the fact that the good has increased in price. That means I can afford less. Are you richer or poorer? Well, unfortunately, you're poorer, so you buy less. Literally, if you wanted to buy more, you couldn't, because you couldn't afford to buy the same amount that you were previously given your fixed nominal income. So therefore, what has happened? The good has become more expensive. Therefore, your real income has fallen. Therefore, you are poorer in real terms. Therefore, you buy less because you can't afford to buy as much as you were previously. So what we have done in this video, and I will stop it here, what we have done in this video is shown that there is one thing called an income effect, which and I cannot stress this enough, following a price change. That's what we're trying to explain. A change in price, how that leads to the law of demand, a downward sloping demand curve. So following a price change, your real income has been affected. Either if the price has risen, like in this case it has, the good has become more expensive and you're poorer in real terms. So you can't afford to buy as much, so you have to buy less. Or in the previous case, if the good has fallen in price, the good has become cheaper and you're richer in real terms. So you can afford to buy more and you choose to buy more of this good. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the next video.